this is Joy with Enjoyed Healthy, and I've got a vegan ancient grain chocolate roll recipe that you're gonna love. It's slightly decadent, minus the guilt. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. If you hit the bell and select all, you'll get notifications whenever I post new videos. In this bowl, I just have 2 cups of my ancient grain flour. We have a third cup here hanging on the side, and then slowly add the last bit of flour to make sure that it's the right consistency. In the bowl of my mixer, I have the 2 cups of ancient grain flour. I've got 2 teaspoons of pink Himalayan sea salt, and I have also, somewhere over here, 2 teaspoons of SAF instant yeast. This is the gold version. There's gold for softer things like cinnamon rolls and dinner rolls and buns and soft pretzels and things like that. And then there's the red, which is for baguettes and pizza and crustier, harder things. So this is the SAF instant yeast gold, and there are 2 teaspoons of that. And then I am making this plant-based, completely vegan. So I took a tablespoon of ground flax, and I added 2 tablespoons of water, and it's been sitting here for about 20 to 30 minutes. I'm gonna add that. And then I'm gonna put I need a little fat in here. So I'm gonna use this blood orange olive oil. I'll put a link to this company below, but you can use plain olive oil, you can use avocado oil. I love, since I'm doing chocolate with this, the essence of orange is gonna be really great in here. So I will do 2 tablespoons, which is 1/8 of a cup, of the blood orange olive oil. And I'm putting that in my measuring spoon first, and then before I do the sticky sweetener, so so it all comes out of there. So I'm using date syrup, but you could use honey or maple syrup. You could also use brown rice syrup. You could use, see how that came out so nicely. You could also use coconut sugar. I mean, you could use regular sugar if you want. Okay, so we've got all that in here. We've got 1 cup of just lukewarm water filtered in the tap, and then we're gonna get that with our dough hook in the mixer. So we're gonna raise that up, and we're gonna get this mixed up and incorporated before we add the rest of our flour. Okay, so you can see this is much too sticky of a dough to, if you look at that. So I'm gonna lower this down, and we're gonna add a little bit of flour at a time. And I'm going to add just enough flour so that it pulls away from the sides of the bowl, and the kind of like in the base of the bowl, it looks clean. Okay, do you see how that, like in the bottom there, it's a little bit clean, and the dough is really picking up all the dough from the sides. And at this point, I'm just gonna let this run for about 5 minutes. Okay, this might sound funny, but I'd like to take my avocado spray or whatever nonstick spray. I sprayed my pan, and I'm also gonna do a light spray on my surface. I'm gonna get my hands a little oiled up there so that the dough doesn't stick, and I am going to get this into a rough rectangle. Okay. Now if you find that your dough is just not relaxed enough, like it's just fighting you, then just give it you know, 5 or 10 minutes to rest and then come back to it. It's just, it's totally fine. It's just the gluten is tightening up, and it just needs to relax a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to just take my rolling pin and make an even rectangle here. And prepare it for the filling. Now, of course, if you want to make cinnamon rolls, this is the exact same method. You just would use brown sugar and cinnamon and the butter of your choice instead of the chocolate and walnuts like I'm doing. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take an offset spatula. I'm going to take I melted this a little bit in the microwave. But I'm going to take, this is about 2 tablespoons or so. I'm just going to do a thin layer. This is Earth Balance, a plant-based butter substitute, but you can, if you use regular butter, that's fine. But I'm making this, of course, plant-based, as I make most of my recipes and on this YouTube channel. And I'm just gonna spread this in a thin layer to about the edges. So I have some chopped dark chocolate. I'm not adding sugar to this because I don't want it to be too sweet. And I'm going to add a generous amount of this dark chocolate. This is Ghiradelli dark chocolate wafers, and this was 2 cups. So this is going to be very chocolatey. And then I'm going to put a chocolate glaze, of course, on top. So I don't add, we're in a regular cinnamon roll, you would add brown sugar at this point on top of the butter, and then put your cinnamon over top of that and roll it. But I'm changing this up, and you can make it whatever you want. You could use raspberry jam, you can do whatever. But I'm doing dark chocolate and some raw walnuts. So I'll probably do a little less than 2 cups, but just will add a nice crunch and flavor and, you know, protein, nutrition in here too. And we're going to, okay, so I did about 2 cups. Okay, and now we're going to just start on one end and roll it up nice and evenly. Such a soft dough. Get in there. Okay. Now, I find it difficult to cut this with a knife. You could use a serrated knife, but you know what my tool of choice is? It's floss. Okay, so you're gonna kind of waste that end. You could, well, not really. You could make that for a nice corner piece. So I'm going to fit that into and move these things. I'm going to fit that, can you see that? In there. And I'm just going to use my floss to cut these even pieces and try to keep all that good stuff in there. I'm going to cover this in plastic, and we're going to let this rise for about an hour and a half before we bake it. Alrighty, you can see these have fluffed up quite a bit, and time to put them in our 350 degree preheated oven. I just took these out of the oven. They're nice and golden brown, and now we're going to make a little glaze for the top. That's sort of the naughty part. So most of it is pretty healthy, but we're just going to add a little bit of a naughty glaze on top. But that's okay, because you're not going to eat the whole tray. For the simple chocolate glaze, we are going to just take about 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. Next is a 1/4 cup of organic cocoa powder. You can use raw cacao as well. We're just gonna throw in a splash of vanilla. And then I'm using a plant-based milk that I made, oat milk. And I'm just going to put that a little bit in at a time till we get the consistency that we want. So you're looking for this like drizzle consistency there. I find it personally easier to drizzle with a spoon. I think you have a little bit more control. So I'm just going to take this chocolate glaze and drizzle over the top. And there you have it. Aren't those beautiful? Okay. Okay, let's bite into this. What I like about this is it's not too sweet. You have the chocolate and the walnuts and the tiny essence of orange. I hope you'll try this recipe. Or even try it with regular cinnamon roll ingredients. I'll put that in the description as well. All right, cheers.